Welcome, dear viewers, to another session of Mind My Mind talk show. We have Miss Aishwarya Paranjpe again with us. Welcome, Dr. Aishwarya. It's a pleasure to have
Hello, thank you.
So,
Thank you, ma'am.
as you all know, Dr. Aishwarya is a clinical psychologist with over 13 years of experience. And इन्होंने पिछले 13 सालों में हर एज ग्रुप के लोगों के साथ डील किया है. पिछली बारी इन्होंने बात किया था about positive auto suggestions. She had suggested how we can better our stress and anxiety using positive auto suggestions. आज हम थोड़ा सा और बात करेंगे on what else can we do to deal with stress and anxiety. As we all know, over 80% of people today deal with either one of these things, stress or anxiety or depression. एंड ये हमारी जिंदगी में बहुत ही ट्रबलसम एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, क्योंकि हम सब खुश रहना चाहते हैं, हम सबको खुश रहना चाहिए, लेकिन बिकॉज ऑफ डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस they become just the thing in our lives that we do undergo stress and anxiety a lot. So Aishwarya ji, how can we deal with that? Is this thing?
So before we go on to how we can deal with stress, let me just briefly talk about what stress is all about. So stress is all about feeling that you don't have the necessary resources to deal with the situation. So it may be internal situations or external situations, but just a scarcity of the resources to deal with a particular situation is something that leads to stress. Now, stressors can be both positive or negative. So, for example, getting into a new job is also stressful. Or maybe for children, it could be going to school for the first time. Now, although they are aware that they would have friends, they've been warned, but that leads to stress. Now, as adults, we have so many other stressors. Like, for example, we have the work-life balance, or rather imbalance, as we may call it, which causes a lot of stress. Or, for example, workloads lead to a lot of stress. Or excessive working hours can be a stressful situation. So now these have become a part of our lives. Deadlines are a major cause of stress amongst adults. So we often tend to ignore the symptoms of stress. For example, we often tend to consider fatigue as a result of excessive work, which could be a cause of, rather, a symptom of stress. Similarly, anger management issues, excessive anxiety issues, sudden immunity related issues, for example, catching a cold very often or having fever, could be all symptoms of stress. Now, these are physical aspects. Coming to the mental ones, maybe excessive anxiety, anger management issues, insomnia. Also, I forgot to mention about weight gain or weight loss. Not feeling hungry enough are all symptoms of stress, and we all often go through them. However, we tend to ignore them, and this
or
should
eating
not
too
be
much, which I do when I'm
absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. So how do we deal with these?
Now, there can be different ways of dealing with stress, and we will talk about all of them in the subsequent sessions. But one of them, which is often ignored, is exercise. And by that I mean physical exercise. Now, how would physical exercise help in stress or the mental health of sorts? Physical exercise leads to the release of certain positive mood hormones in the brain, which are called neurotransmitters. And the name of the hormones or the neurotransmitters are called endorphins. So exercise helps to release these endorphins in the body, and that is why it helps to improve our mood, it helps to reduce our stress, and it helps to reduce our anxieties as well. So one must exercise for at least half an hour in a day, and that by that I mean cardio exercise. I do not, rather, I wouldn't recommend yoga or anything of that sort. Of course, if you're doing that, it is an additional benefit, but something which will increase your heart rate and help you out to sustain that heart rate. Of course, this needs to be done with the doctor's advice, but it needs to be done for at least those people who are healthy and are in stressful jobs, sedentary lifestyles, poor eating habits, regular junk food eaters. These people must exercise, because how you eat, how you follow your diet, how you sleep are all factors which lead to or contribute to stress.
So, how do you deal with insomnia?
So if you exercise well, besides other things, of course, if you exercise well, you are able to balance your energy levels in the body. It improves your blood circulation. It helps to generate an appropriate appetite. And it also helps you to tire out your body physically, which does not happen in a sedentary job. So all of these factors, generally what is happening right now is that a person is mentally very tired, but physically is absolutely energetic. So what needs to go in is both physical and mental tiredness, which would help a person to fall asleep. Of course, there are other methods which we would be talking about, as I said, in the subsequent sessions.
So, what any other tips that you would want to give to people on how to deal with this? I mean, especially like people like me who overeat. Then, on the other hand, there are also people who are absolutely unable to eat. So, exercise. But you know what happens is when you're not eating, at that time you also find it very difficult to exercise. And also when you're overeating, you do become lethargic. I mean, I've experienced it. And then again, you know, exercise becomes a problem. How do you deal with it?
So, I mean, if you're asking me about how to motivate yourself for exercise, then yes, it is important that you use auto suggestions and motivate yourself. But besides that, there are other tips, like for example, eat proper healthy food. For example, extreme eating of junk food can also lead to stress. The excessive sodium content that is there in those food items also contributes to a lot of physical symptoms and therefore stress. Or for example, sleeping for 7 to 8 hours in a day is also very important. For an average adult, sleeping for at least 7 hours is extremely important, because that is the period when the brain is healing itself and it's healing the body as well. So the wear and tear that happens during the day is being treated at night when we are asleep. Now, if we don't sleep properly, this wear and tear repair does not happen, and therefore it leads to stress. It also leads to physical symptoms.
You get caught in a vicious cycle.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Great. So, two last tips on a parting note till we meet again on how, you know, if you're suffering from a sudden panic attack or an extremely stressful situation, what do you do in 2 minutes to kind of settle yourself down?
Just breathe and breathe and breathe and take deep breaths until you calm yourself down. That's the best way to deal with your stress, your anxiety, your panic attacks, or any other mood related issues. If we understand the importance or the healing effect of breathing and deep breathing, that will be the most effective way of dealing with any kind of mental health issues.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya ji. These were very handy tips. Thanks for being here. And thank you, dear viewers.
My pleasure.
Hope you find these tips useful. Please do share and like our video. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.